Всем привет! Greetings and salutations. In this episode of City Snippets, we'll be exploring Kazan, a city about 800 kilometers east of Moscow. Kazan is the capital of Tatarstan, and with 1.2 million residents, it's the fifth biggest city in Russia. The Republic of Tatarstan is a region of Russia and the historical homeland of the Volga Tatar people, an ethnic group of around 5 million people of Mongol and Turkic descent, who are the second biggest ethnic group in Russia after Russians. The area converted to Islam in 922 AD, and in Kazan you can see amazing Islamic architecture in many of the buildings. Ivan the Terrible conquered the city in 1552, and by that time the city was already more than 500 years old. Kazan is a melting pot of religion and culture, so you can see churches and mosques intermingled between Eastern and European styles, vibes, and good times. Our first stop is the Lower Kaban Lake, the most important of 3 lakes in the area. You can enjoy a leisurely stroll around the lake by foot, or you can hire a bike or scooter and speed things up a bit. In the warmer months, you can also rent a boat to mingle among the swans and other lesser waterfowl. If that still doesn't quite quench your thirst for adventure, legend has it that when our friend Ivan captured the city, the residents threw their treasure into the lake. Typically, the treasure has never been found, so perhaps a cheeky plunge is in order. On the northern side of the lake, you can see a new theatre that supposedly looks like a sailing ship. I'm not sure how much of this resemblance I see myself. I personally think it looks like a block of brutalist cheese. But anyway, leave a comment below and tell me what you think this looks like. The western side of the lake is home to the Old Tatar district, where you can enjoy exquisite traditional Tatar cuisine, assuming you ever find a table. And very conveniently, you can't book one either. With my luck, of course, I wasn't able to get a seat, so I can't tell you anything more about the delicious food that I never had. Now, what would any self-respecting Russian city be without a Kremlin? Yes, indeed, Kazan also has one of those. Situated on a hill in the center of the city overlooking the Volga River, the Kremlin was built in the mid-1500s by order of, you guessed it, Ivan the Terrible. The main entrance to the Kremlin is through a large tower called the Spasskaya Tower, which, coincidentally, is also the name of the main entrance to the Kremlin in Moscow. The oldest building within the walls is the Annunciation Cathedral, the only 16th century Russian church that has a staggering 6 piers and 5 apses. And if that means anything to anyone, that's great, because I have not a single clue. Behind this fancy church is a breathtaking panoramic view of eastern Kazan, where you can see the agricultural palace, the Kremlyovsky embankment, and across the Kazanka River, where the newer neighborhoods, Ferris wheel, and the Kazan wedding palace are located. You'll also find the Soyembika Tower, the governor's house, and the palace church on the Kremlin's northern side. Of course, the crown jewel of Kazan is the gleaming Kul Sharif Mosque. Covered in white marble and boasting 4 glistening 58-meter blue-tipped minarets, the mosque, day and night, is a stunning example of the diverse architecture that can be found throughout the city. Nearby, a small monument shows where the original mosque stood before it was demolished, surprisingly, by Ivan the Terrible. Our next stop is the Agricultural Palace, or Farmer's Palace, depending on the translation. It was completed in 2010. The building serves as the Ministry of Agriculture and Food. The palace has attracted a lot of attention, both good and bad, with some critics even going as far as saying that it is one of the ugliest buildings in modern Russia, though I'm not really sure we're talking about the same building. It is situated east of the Kremlin, and there is a large park nestled between it and the Kremlyovskaya embankment. We're now zooming over the bridge to the cauldron-shaped wedding palace. The name of the city comes from the word for a specific type of pot that is traditionally used by Turkic peoples both in Russia and in Central Asia to make those delectable meals that I still haven't had the pleasure of trying. To honor this, the city decided to build its own massive pot, surrounded by statues representing symbols of the city and the region. The statues were installed in 2016 and guard over family values, embodying the fidelity and strength of marriage ties. Well, isn't that just the bee's knees? Here, people can officiate their marriage or take the stairs to the double-decker observation deck to experience an incredible view of the Kremlin, the agricultural palace, the old and new city, the embankment, and other parts of southern Kazan from the other side of the Kazanka River. The fact that entrance to the viewing platform is not free is kept secret until after you've climbed the who knows how many stairs to the top. Of course, Kazan has many other things to offer, but in my opinion, these stood out the most. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of Kazan and that you have better luck in finding a spot at the infamous, always full traditional Tatar restaurant near the brutalist block of cheese. See you next time!